I want to start with the bigger picture because I just interviewed Airbnb CEO Brian Chesky yesterday, and he told me he thinks a revolution is happening in the way we travel from business to leisure. Do you think a revolution is happening post-pandemic in the businesses that you run, rides and the way we order food, or will life revert?
Well, certainly there's a revolution happening in terms of delivery of all things to your home. It started with food, but it's going to continue with grocery and pharmacy or your iPhone, et cetera. And just in 4 years, our Uber Eats business has gone from a $2.5 billion run rate to a $52 billion run rate. And we think there's so much more to go. Users want what they want at their home right now. You know, it used to be that next day delivery was awesome. Now it's all about next hour delivery. And what we're doing is empowering any local merchant to essentially get anything that you want locally to your home within hours. And clearly eaters and users love it. And we think it's a trend that's going to continue over the next 5 to 10 years.
Now, you just revealed Uber could post its first profit this quarter. What are the levers that you can and will pull to determine whether that happens this quarter or not?
Well, I think what's happening now is our marketplace is becoming much more balanced. If you looked in Q2, the demand for moving around and getting things to your home essentially was increasing at a much faster rate than supply. We had to invest very aggressively to bring more drivers onto the platform, more couriers onto the platform. And you're seeing the benefits of that in Q3, where the marketplace is much more balanced. Our margins are coming back to normal. Our mobility margins actually are going to be equal to pre-pandemic levels, even at lower volume, because of the moves that we've made in terms of automation. And our Uber Eats business is both growing the top line, but now is getting to EBITDA profitability levels as well by the end of the year. So really now things are working out quite well for us, where we can grow the top line, but we can do so profitably on a sustainable basis for some period to come.
Still, you're continuing to work on driver supply around the world. There are price surges that we as riders are certainly feeling. You've said that price surge will ease up by the end of the year. Without that, do you see long-term profitability? Will you hit that milestone quarter after quarter?
Well, absolutely, we do. And we're seeing the prices essentially stabilize now. Our surge levels are coming down. ETAs now are the best that they've been since the beginning of the year. And conversion rates, as far as the percentage of users opening the app and getting the service that they want, whether it's food delivered to their home or whether it's they're going somewhere, all of these metrics are moving in the right direction. So we think we can be profitable, but we can be profitable delivering an amazing experience to riders and eaters, and also really strong earnings level to our earners.
I want to zoom into the UK in particular, where you are seeing longer wait times. Drivers are going to other apps. They're moving on to other sources of income. When do you see a better balance between supply and demand?
Well, I think what we're seeing in the UK is that demand right now in the UK is at 20 to 40% higher than pre-pandemic levels. I mean, the UK is really opening up, and it's amazing to see. The number of drivers that we have on our platform now is as high as it was pre-pandemic, but it hasn't caught up to the growth in supply. So we're going out there in the UK now, and we are looking to bring on 20,000 more drivers onto the platform. The earnings opportunities are better than they ever have been. And as far as the service goes, you know, over 60% of the time you're getting your ride within 5 minutes. 90+% of the time you're getting your ride within 10 minutes. We want it to be faster, but the service is now working the way that we want it to, and there's a ton of earnings opportunities, and hopefully we'll get more drivers onto the platform to catch up to the incredible demand that we're seeing.
DoorDash's market cap briefly surpassed Uber's in the last week. The stock's back up, but it was kind of a close call. A former Uber executive called that a nightmare. He invoked a comparison to Yahoo. How do you respond to that?
Yeah, I think I wouldn't put a lot of credence into that particular former Uber executive. You know, it's a point in time. The fact is, if you look at our volumes are twice as high as DoorDash's, and we're growing faster. Our revenue is 3 times larger than DoorDash, and we're growing faster. And based on third-party data in the US, our Uber Eats business is the fastest growing food delivery platform. in the US. So we're very confident as to where we're going. And I think this is a point in time in terms of relative market caps that I don't think you're going to see again.
DoorDash is getting into alcohol delivery. Investors are betting they're going to be big in grocery. You did buy the grocery delivery company Corner Shop earlier this year. We saw that partnership with Albertsons, but when are we going to see your grocery efforts really scale up and bear fruit?
Well, I think it makes a lot of sense for DoorDash actually to follow us into alcohol delivery. We've been there for over a year. We have alcohol delivery now available on Eats in over 20 countries. So it makes a lot of sense for them to follow us there. As far as grocery goes, we have focused actually outside the US first. We think we can be the winner in Latin America, which is Corner Shop's home turf, so to speak. We're aggressively expanding grocery in France, in UK, countries like Taiwan, Australia, etc. And in the US now, we have a really strong tie-up with Albertsons and Costco, and we're going to essentially expand with the partners on a local basis.
Meantime, very important situation brewing in Texas. Uber and Lyft have said they'll pay the legal fees of drivers sued under this new Texas law banning abortions. You donated $1 million to Planned Parenthood. If other states pass similar laws, would we see you do this elsewhere? Does Uber support a woman's right to choose on a national level?
Yeah, we absolutely do. And I think more importantly, we don't think that drivers should be sued by private clients. We think that's unprecedented. It's wrong. And if it happens in another state, we're going to stand behind our drivers just like we did in Texas.
Meantime, Dara, your CTO stepped down, and you have made the unusual decision to become acting CTO. So you've got now these highly technical executives reporting into you. I'm so curious, how are you preparing for this new responsibility? That's a really critical job.
It is. I was an engineer back in school, so I get to geek out now. And I think at Uber, we have the best technical capabilities in the space. And my working directly with our top engineers, we have an incredible bench. So, I'm actually looking forward to it. We have a great bench that we're working with, and I think we can keep innovating, and I think we can keep shipping products faster than any of the other local players out there.
So speaking of some of your other bets, you recently made a visit to Joby. You watched one of their flying taxis take off. Of course, you've also got self-driving with Aurora playing out. How do you see these other bets on self-driving cars, flying taxis playing out? Is this the real travel revolution that we need to wait for?
Well, I think all of these technologies are happening. The pace at which they happen, I think, actually is going to depend a lot on the regulatory authorities. The Joby tech in terms of flight range, in terms of sound, is extraordinary. I got to experience it myself. And obviously the certification process is going to be the most important factor in bringing this technology to bear. And with Aurora as well, we're thrilled to be working with them both on the trucking side and the rideshare side. And I think it's about safety first, and the technology leaps that we're seeing there are super encouraging. So these are two best-of-breed teams, along with Lime, who is the leader in terms of e-bikes and scooters in the world. And we have strategic investments in each of these very important areas. And we love our investments because we've made the investments in what we believe are the best teams and the leading teams in each area.